The demolition worker just smashes the wall once with a hammer, and surprisingly discovers 3 large bags of $100 bills inside. But before he can count the money, his co-worker calls him to leave immediately, because the entire building is rigged with explosives and will be demolished in an hour. With no choice, Jimmy quickly hides the money, planning to come back for it later. After all the workers evacuate the building, he quickly climbs over the iron fence and sneaks back into the demolition site. Although there are only 30 minutes left before the explosion, Jimmy doesn't hesitate to run up to the 9th floor to find where he hid the money. Little does he know that another man named Erickson has also set his sights on this money and is rapidly heading toward the building. Jimmy then opens these black duffel bags and dumps all the money on the ground. After counting, he's thrilled. The total cash amounts to $10 million. This is more than he could ever earn in a lifetime of boxing matches. But before he can take the money away, he suddenly hears the sound of someone smashing walls in the building. It turns out Erickson has already found this place, but he doesn't seem to know the exact location of the money and is searching room by room. This gives Jimmy a chance to escape. While the other man is still in the next room, he quickly packs all the cash and quietly slips out of the room. Since Erickson is so focused on his search, he doesn't even notice Jimmy walking past behind him. Soon, Jimmy reaches the stairwell with the money. But just as he gets to the 7th floor, he sees a group of armed thugs coming up from below. Clearly, they're also here for the money. With no other option, he can only go back upstairs to the 8th floor, where most of the explosives are located. Due to nervousness, he kicks a light tube on the ground. The loud noise immediately alerts everyone upstairs and downstairs. To avoid being discovered, Jimmy has to hide the money first. Then before the thugs rush in, he hides on the window ledge. Only the curtain shields him, temporarily keeping him from being discovered. What Jimmy can't understand even more is that the man upstairs is in the same predicament. It turns out Erickson isn't an accomplice of the thugs. At this moment, he's also being forced by other thugs to hide behind the curtain. Watching the thugs getting closer and closer, both men hold their breath, not daring to move an inch. Fortunately, at this moment, the thugs' walkie-talkies suddenly transmit a voice, calling them to gather downstairs. They've caught a man near the construction site, Jimmy's co-worker, who came back to retrieve his time card he left at the site. But the gang leader doesn't believe this at all, and is certain he must be related to the cash. To lure Jimmy out of the building, he directly orders his men to beat the man severely. Watching his co-worker about to be beaten to death, Jimmy is furious but can do nothing. In the end, he can only watch helplessly as the man dies before his eyes.
There.
8th floor.
Yeah, go. Take front. I'll cut him off.
At this moment, Jimmy decides to stop hiding. His co-worker's death completely ignites his fighting spirit. When the first thug rushes up to the 8th floor, he kicks away the man's rifle with one swift motion. Then, the two begin close combat. With years of boxing experience, Jimmy beats this thug without giving him any chance to fight back. Then, with a flying kick, he kicks the man into the elevator shaft, where he falls to the 1st floor and dies. But the main force of thugs also arrives at this time. They directly control Jimmy with their submachine guns. Because only Jimmy knows the whereabouts of the 10 million, he's certain the thugs won't shoot. So Jimmy seizes the opportunity, headbutts the female thug in the middle to knock her out. Then with a left punch and a right punch, he beats back the 2 thugs beside him. Before they can pick up their guns again, Jimmy jumps directly into the garbage chute beside the corridor and slides all the way down to the 1st floor. Thinking he's safe now, he's just climbed out of the garbage pile when Erickson suddenly appears behind him and holds a knife to his neck. Although the man isn't an accomplice of the thugs, Jimmy treats anyone who comes for that money as an enemy. So when the other man lets his guard down, Jimmy launches a sneak attack. Unexpectedly, Erickson is equally skilled. Even though Jimmy was once a boxing champion, he gains no advantage over the man. Just as the two are fighting intensely, a thug is attracted by their fighting sounds. To survive, both quickly raise their hands. Even 2 people with such strong combat abilities don't dare act rashly when facing the threat of a gun. Erickson pretends to talk with the thug to distract his attention, while Jimmy takes the opportunity to pounce and knock away the thug's pistol. But unexpectedly, this thug is also very good at close combat and beats both of them without giving them any chance to fight back. Just as Erickson is about to be beaten to death, Jimmy quickly knocks out the thug with the walkie-talkie. But before they can catch their breath, the other criminals rush over. The two have no choice but to run upstairs again. After this near-death experience, the two decide to join forces and cooperate. Only this way do they have a chance to safely leave the building with that $10 million.